The courtroom was silent. So silent that even the sound of the judge's pen tapping against the desk felt loud. Everyone's eyes were fixed on the woman standing in front of the court, Maya Sterling, a young billionaire and single mother. Her hands were shaking, her lips trembling. Tears filled her eyes as the judge read the charges against her. They said she had done something terrible. Something that could destroy her life forever. The reporters outside had already written the headlines. Billionaire mother on trial for the death of her husband. Maya couldn't even lift her head. She could feel the cold stares, the whispers, the judgment. No one believed she was innocent. No one, except maybe the tiny voice inside her heart that kept saying, "Hold on, the truth will come." But at that moment, the truth felt far away. The judge cleared his throat. "If no one has any last words," he said slowly, "this court will pronounce." Suddenly, the heavy doors at the back of the courtroom burst open with a loud bang. Everyone turned around. A man in torn clothes, his beard rough and his eyes tired, stumbled in. He looked like he hadn't eaten in days. His clothes smelled of dust and rain. Security guards rushed toward him, shouting, "Get him out of here." But the man shouted louder, so loud that his voice echoed through the whole courtroom. "Don't kill her. She's innocent." The room froze. The judge dropped his pen. The jury stared. Maya gasped and turned toward the voice. She had never seen this man before, or at least, that's what she thought. "Who are you?" the judge demanded. "How dare you interrupt this trial?" The homeless man fell to his knees. "Please, listen to me," he begged. "She didn't do it. I was there that night." A loud wave of murmurs filled the courtroom. The guards grabbed him by the arms, but he struggled to speak. "You're making a mistake," he shouted. "She's not the killer." The judge slammed his hammer. "Order! Order in the court." Maya's heart was beating fast. Her mind was racing. Who is this man? How does he know about that night? The judge frowned and looked at the homeless man. "If you claim to have information, state your name." "My name," the man coughed, his voice weak. "My name is Ethan Cole." Everyone began whispering again. Ethan's eyes were red, but his gaze was strong, the kind that carries truth and pain together. "I was near the house that night," Ethan said. "I saw what really happened." The courtroom went silent again. Even the camera stopped flashing. Maya looked at him, her face pale. She didn't remember any Ethan Cole. Could he be lying? Or was he her last hope? The judge motioned for the guards to release him. "You have 1 minute," he said. "Speak." Ethan nodded, breathing hard. "That night, I was sleeping behind the old bakery near her mansion. I heard shouting, a man's voice, angry, cruel. I got up and went closer. I saw her husband dragging her by the arm. She was crying, begging him to stop." Maya covered her mouth as tears rolled down. She remembered that night, the shouting, the pain, the fear. Ethan continued, he pushed her to the floor. Then he turned and saw me watching. He grabbed the gun. I ran. I heard a shot. But it wasn't her, it was him. He fired the gun himself. I saw him fall. The judge's face changed. The room was buzzing again. People were whispering, could this be true? Is he lying? Why would a homeless man risk everything to speak? Maya looked at Ethan, her voice breaking. Why didn't you come before now? Ethan lowered his head. I tried, he said softly. But no one listened. They looked at me and saw nothing, just a man with no home, no power, no truth. I was scared. But when I saw the news, I couldn't stay quiet anymore. The judge sat back, deep in thought. The lawyer for the prosecution jumped up. Your Honor, this is ridiculous. He's a stranger. "We can't take his word." But the defense lawyer stood. "Your Honor, this witness might hold the key to the truth. We should hear him fully." The judge sighed and tapped his hammer. "We will take a short break before continuing." As the room emptied, Maya stood still. Ethan was about to be led away by the guards, but she rushed to him. "Why did you save me?" she asked, tears running down her face. Ethan smiled weakly. "Because someone once saved me when I didn't deserve it. Maybe this is my chance to do the same." Maya looked into his eyes and saw something she hadn't seen in a long time: kindness. Not pity, not judgment, just pure kindness. The guards took Ethan away for questioning, but the image of his face stayed in Maya's mind. Something about him felt familiar, a memory she couldn't reach. Was he really just a stranger? Or was there something deeper connecting them both? Outside, reporters were screaming, trying to capture the story. Homeless man saves billionaire. New witness in shocking court case. But inside Maya's heart, another story was unfolding, a story of fate, secrets, and second chances. She whispered to herself, "Maybe the truth has finally found me." As the courtroom lights dimmed, Ethan looked back one last time before disappearing through the door. Their eyes met, and in that brief moment, something unspoken passed between them. Something that neither the judge nor the world could ever understand. Something powerful enough to change both their lives forever. The night after the court was quiet, but Maya's heart wasn't. She sat by her window, staring out at the city lights, her mind racing. The sound of Ethan's voice kept echoing in her head, "Don't kill her, she's innocent." No one had ever defended her like that before. Not since her mother died. Everyone else only saw her as the billionaire widow, the woman whose husband had died in a mysterious way. But Ethan, a man with nothing, had stood up for her when everyone else stayed silent. Why? Maya couldn't sleep. Her body was tired, but her thoughts were louder than ever. She got up, walked across her large, empty mansion, and stopped at a framed photo on the wall, her son Leo, and her late husband, David Sterling. David had been handsome, powerful, and cold. To the world, he was a genius businessman. To Maya, he was a storm she could never escape. People said she was lucky to have married him. But if they had seen what went on behind those tall mansion doors, the shouting, the bruises, the fear, they would have known she wasn't lucky at all. She had been trapped. And now, the world believed she had killed him. A soft knock came at her door. It was Clara, her housekeeper and the only person Maya trusted. "Maya," Clara whispered, "the police called. They want you to come back to court tomorrow. They are questioning the homeless man again." Maya's chest tightened. "Ethan?" Clara nodded. "Yes. They said his story has holes in it. They think he's lying." Maya felt something heavy inside her chest. She didn't know why, but she needed to protect him. "He's not lying," she said quickly. "He couldn't be." "But how can you be sure?" Clara asked gently. "You said you don't know him." Maya looked away. "I don't know," she whispered. But something in his eyes, it felt like I'd seen them before. The next morning, the courtroom was packed again. The media had gone wild overnight. Headlines screamed. "Mystery witness claims billionaire MOM innocent. Homeless hero or skilled liar." Ethan looked cleaner this time. Someone had given him a new shirt, but his eyes still carried sadness, and something deeper, like a secret he was afraid to tell. When he saw Maya walk in, he smiled faintly. It wasn't a confident smile. It was a sad one, the kind that says, "I wish things were different." The judge looked serious. "Mr. Cole," he said, "you claim to have witnessed the event. But our officers found no record of you living near the bakery you mentioned. In fact, that building has been closed for over a year. Can you explain that?" Ethan's face went pale. I moved around a lot, he said quietly. Sometimes I sleep near the river. Sometimes behind old shops. I don't remember the dates. The prosecutor smirked. So you expect us to believe your story when you don't even remember where you live? Ethan clenched his fist. I remember what I saw. I remember her crying. I remember the gun. Maya couldn't stand it anymore. She stood up. He's telling the truth, she shouted. You have to believe him. The judge looked at her, calm but firm. Mrs. Sterling, please sit down. Maya obeyed, but her hands trembled. She couldn't explain it, she felt his truth. Maybe it was the way he spoke. Maybe it was the pain behind his eyes. The prosecutor continued pressing Ethan. How did you know her name? How did you know it was Maya Sterling's house? Ethan hesitated. He looked at Maya, then at the floor. Because, his voice broke. Because I used to work there. The room exploded with noise. Everyone gasped. The judge's hammer slammed down. Order. Maya's mouth fell open. You what? Ethan nodded slowly. I worked as a gardener there, years ago. Before I lost everything. Her mind flashed back, the backyard garden, the man trimming the roses, always quiet, never speaking much. She remembered now. Ethan. He was the gentle worker who never looked her in the eye because her husband hated when the staff did that. You were, she began, but stopped, her voice cracking. Yes, Ethan said softly. I saw things I shouldn't have. I saw how he treated you. I wanted to help, but I was afraid. When the company fired me, I had nowhere to go. I ended up on the streets. But I never forgot you. The courtroom grew quiet again, but this time it wasn't out of shock, it was out of emotion. People looked at Maya differently now. Not as a villain, but as someone who had suffered. The prosecutor, however, wasn't done. If that's true, he said coldly, why didn't you come forward earlier? Ethan's voice shook. Because I thought no one would believe me. Because I was a nobody. But when I saw her picture on the news, I knew I couldn't stay silent anymore. The judge took a deep breath. We will need to verify this employment record. Until then, Mr. Cole will remain under protective watch. The guards led Ethan away again. As he passed by Maya, she whispered, thank you. He stopped for a second and whispered back, the truth is bigger than both of us. That night, Maya sat alone again. Her son Leo was asleep upstairs. She looked at his peaceful face and felt a tear roll down her cheek. I have to fix this, she whispered. For him. She opened her drawer and pulled out an old photograph. It showed David, standing proudly in front of their company, Sterling Industries. But behind him, in the corner, half hidden by flowers, was Ethan. Her hands trembled. He had been there all along, watching, silent, unseen. Suddenly, she remembered something, the last thing David said to her before he died. You think you're safe, Maya. But secrets don't stay buried forever. Her heart skipped. What secret was he talking about? And what if Ethan's return wasn't just fate, but the beginning of everything coming undone? The next morning came with heavy clouds. Rain poured over the city, washing the streets like the sky itself was crying. Inside the courthouse, Maya sat nervously beside her lawyer. Her hands were cold. She hadn't slept all night. All she could think about was Ethan, the homeless man who risked everything to save her. She whispered to herself, if he's lying, I'll lose everything. But if he's telling the truth, maybe I'll finally be free. The door opened. The guards brought Ethan in, handcuffed, his face pale but calm. The moment their eyes met, Maya's heart softened. There was something unspoken between them, a quiet understanding built through pain and truth. The judge entered. Everyone rose. "Let's continue," he said firmly. "Mr. Cole, new evidence has been found regarding your employment history." The prosecutor stood, holding a file. "Your Honor, according to Sterling Industries' old records, Ethan Cole did work there for 2 years as a gardener. His name and photo are on file." A gasp ran through the room. Maya's eyes widened. It was true. Ethan sighed in relief. But then the prosecutor's voice hardened. "However," he continued, "the same records show that Mr. Cole was fired after being caught stealing from the company." Ethan's eyes darkened. "That's not true," he said quietly. "I was framed." The prosecutor smirked. "Of course you were." He turned to the judge. "This man's credibility is broken. He's lying to protect her." Maya's chest tightened. She stood up suddenly. "That's enough. You don't know what he's been through." The judge banged his hammer. "Mrs. Sterling, sit down." But Maya couldn't stop. "David, my husband, he was cruel. He controlled everything, even people's lives. If Ethan was fired, it was because David wanted to punish him for something he didn't do." Her voice cracked. Tears streamed down her face. "You think money makes people good? No. Sometimes it just hides the monsters." The courtroom went silent. Every camera pointed at her. The judge leaned forward. "Mrs. Sterling," he said softly, "are you saying your husband was abusive?" Maya nodded slowly. "Yes. And I stayed quiet for years because I was afraid. But I can't hide anymore. I didn't kill him. I tried to stop him from hurting me. I loved him once, but he wasn't the man I married." She turned to Ethan. "And he saw it all. He knows." Ethan's eyes filled with tears. "I saw too much," he whispered. "That night, David found me behind the fence. He thought I was spying. He pulled the gun, but before he could shoot me, Maya screamed. He turned, and that's when the gun went off." Maya buried her face in her hands. "I didn't mean to push him. I was trying to get the gun away." The judge's eyes softened. "So it was an accident?" "Yes," Ethan said. "It was self-defense." The prosecutor slammed his papers down. "This is all a story. Where's the proof?" Ethan looked straight at him. "In my pocket." Everyone froze. Ethan reached into his old jacket and pulled out a small, cracked phone. "I never had much," he said, "but that night, I took a picture when I ran. I didn't even know what I was doing. I just snapped it because I was scared." He handed the phone to the bailiff, who brought it to the judge. The screen showed a blurry photo, but clear enough to see David holding the gun, his face twisted in rage, while Maya was on the ground crying. The room went silent. You could hear people breathing, whispering, realizing the truth. The prosecutor's face turned pale. That could have been staged. But the judge shook his head. The metadata confirms the photo's date and location. This image is real. Maya's tears fell freely now. The truth had finally found her. The judge leaned back and took a deep breath. In light of this evidence, the court finds Maya Sterling. He paused, looked at her kindly, and said, "Not guilty." The room erupted with noise, reporters shouting, cameras flashing, people gasping. But Maya didn't hear any of it. She turned to Ethan, tears blurring her vision. "You saved my life," she whispered. Ethan smiled faintly. "No. You saved mine first." She frowned. "What do you mean?" He looked down. "Years ago, when I was working in your garden, you gave me food one night after your husband yelled at me for cutting the roses wrong. You told me, kindness doesn't need an invitation. I never forgot that." Maya covered her mouth. She remembered now. That small act of kindness, something she had long forgotten, had come back to save her life. The guards removed Ethan's handcuffs. The crowd moved closer, reporters shouting questions. But Maya and Ethan didn't care. For the first time in years, the weight on her heart was gone. Weeks later, the story faded from the headlines. The world moved on. But for Maya and Ethan, everything had changed. One afternoon, Maya visited a small shelter near the river. Children played outside while volunteers served food. Ethan was there, helping a little boy fix his broken toy car. His clothes were still simple, but his eyes shone with peace. Maya walked up behind him. "You never stop helping people, do you?" she said softly. He turned and smiled. "It's all I know how to do." She handed him an envelope. "What's this?" he asked. "Something new," she said. "A fresh start. A home. A job. You've given enough, Ethan. Let me give back." He opened the envelope and froze. It was the deed to a small house near the community center. "I can't accept this," he whispered. Maya smiled gently. "You can. Because kindness doesn't need an invitation, remember." For the first time, Ethan laughed, a real, warm laugh. "You never change, do you?" Maya smiled back. "Maybe for the first time, I don't need to." They stood together, watching the sunset. The golden light touched their faces, two souls who had lost everything but found something far more powerful: truth, redemption, and peace. And somewhere deep inside, both of them knew, sometimes, it takes the most broken person to see the truth no one else can.